Hi, this is Karen and welcome to another card making tutorial at dolallycrafts. As you can see, there's no card today. We're doing another on the fly. This one has been floating around in my mind for a couple of weeks and I was just waiting on a delivery of the watercolour paper. I do have watercolour paper here at home, but it's not Stampin' Up, so I thought, well, I will order theirs, and that way I'm using all of the right products. Now, I'm making a slimline card today. Apparently it's all the rage, and I can't understand why because, oh, I've gone all blurry. Yeah, I can't understand why because I've been making slimline cards for years. A lot of the wedding congratulation cards I made were slimline. They weren't the 5x7 or 7x5. They were slimline cards. I actually liked the way that they looked. I thought they looked very elegant. But yeah, I thought, well, since the watercolour paper actually comes in 5x7 from memory, yes, 5x7 inches or 12.7 by 17.8 centimetres. I thought, okay, let's do a slimline for this. I did only want to use a single stamp for each block that I'm doing here. But yeah, I've ended up doing this way, and I'm using the Forever Fern set. I'd been waiting on this as well. I've seen some absolutely stunning cards made with this stamp set, so I've been dying to get it, so I will be doing more in the Forever Fern style, but this one today is a little bit different. I'm not actually colouring the ferns themselves. Anyway, we'll open up the Stamparatus. Stamparatus. I'm just calling it that because that's the way the Yanks are calling it. But yeah, I mean, over here it's probably Stamparatus, but it doesn't have that extra R in it, so I'm not using it. Okay, so we'll open this up, and I've got my magic powder bag here, or my embossing buddy, and I'm just going to give this whole panel a good dose of powder, and I'm making sure that I line it up at the 12 centimetre spot here so that I know exactly where it is if I need to restamp. They're really, really strong magnets. Okay, just check. Right, my magnets are not going to get in the way. One more roll over with the embossing buddy, and then in with my Versamark. I'm just inking them up. You won't be able to see them because they're off screen. Okay, bring that over and give it a good press. I might actually turn this around this way so that they're easier to stamp, and I'll give them another good stamping. Now, I haven't done this card before, so I'm really hoping that it turns out. I really hope it does. Otherwise, I'm going to look like a bit of a prize pillock here. Okay, give it a good rub. Make sure I get as much of that Versamark on the card as possible. Move these aside. Hopefully that's in focus properly now. I've brought in my clear embossing powder, and I'm going to give this a bit of a shake. Oh, I hope this turns out. If it does, it'll look really pretty. I'm sure of it. If it doesn't, as I said, just call me the prize pillock. Okay, one more down this end. And I think I ended up with powder all over my table then. So bear with me a moment. Okay, we've got this bit done now. I'm going to come in with my heat gun. Okay, so we've got our watercolour card that's been embossed, and I've got a C-size stamp here. I'm going to bring in my Pool Party ink. Whoops, keep it off to the side here. And what I'm going to do is put Pool Party ink all over the block. I'm going to come in with my mini mister and just give it a spray, and then upend it over the flower. Give it a good press. Give it a really good press. I want a really good image for this. Okay, bring in a nappy wipe, and I'm just going to wipe the excess paint off there. Give it a bit of a dry on my hand, and then I'm going to bring in Coastal Cabana and do exactly the same thing. Coat my block with plenty of Coastal Cabana, give it a quick spritz, and then bring it down the other end and do exactly the same thing. Make sure I colour all of that area, and then wipe off the block again. And last time with the Bermuda Bay. And this one's a lot darker. Just cover that up. Bring my card out the way and give this a spritz. I'm doing it lengthways on the card this time so that I make sure I get both of those leaves covered. Clean off the block again. It's a bit messy. And then back in with the heat gun, but on low. And I'm going to dry this off, hopefully, without melting the powder again. Just going to give the wipe over on the embossing, and unfortunately that hasn't turned out the way that I was hoping. Let's keep going and see how we go with it. Okay, so it hasn't quite turned out the way that I wanted, but I'm not going to stand defeated. I'm going to come back in with the Coastal Cabana, since the Coastal Cabana is the one that didn't seem to turn out. And I'm going to rip a piece of this backing paper. Let's see how we go. Because I'm going to get messy now. Okay, so we're going to bring it back in. Now that ends the Coastal Cabana, and that's the one that didn't show up as well as I was hoping. So we're going to cover that end with Coastal Cabana. Going to come back in with the Pool Party and do straight ink pad to paper. And the last... Ooh! Okay. That's never happened before. We're going to do the straight ink to paper on the Bermuda Bay as well. Look how dark that one is. Now I'm going to have to try and figure out how to fix my pad. Okay, so we're back with our original piece, and I'm going to bring in the card base. Now, even though it was a stuff-up, and I will admit it was a real stuff-up, I still don't mind the way it's turned out. All we need now is a sentiment. And I think this one is quite appropriate. I'm going to do the You Can Do This. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some darker. I think this is the one that went out last year, the Tranquil Tide, but it seems to have a really good match with these colours. So I think that was 2.5 inches from memory. I cut it last night. So if we make this 2 3/4 there, and then actually I'm going to make that even smaller. I'm going to take another 1/8 of an inch off, and to make this go. I have no idea what size it was. Let's see. We know that that was 2 5/8 that way. And 7 1/8. So 2 5/8 and 7 1/8. And then I'm going to use my tear and tape because this is bowed slightly. I want a really good adherence to the matting layer. I'm glad at the moment that the wind's died down outside. Earlier this morning it was blowing a gale and I thought all you guys are going to hear is the wind outside the window. But it's not actually too bad out there at the moment, and we are in the courtyard, so depending on which way the wind's blowing, it might not actually blow a gale through that little corridor outside the window. Okay, bring in my craft knife because this backing paper doesn't want to come up. But it's all coming off slowly. And we've got at least another 3 or 4 weeks before I can go to a nail technician's. I know, first world problems and all that. Okay, give that a really good press down. You can tell that the ink is still wet, and that is why I wanted to press it down. So I'm going to bring in some of the foam adhesive sheets. I want to give this a little bit of lift, but the dimensionals aren't going to be strong enough, I don't think, to keep it all. I'd have to use so many dimensionals, so it might just be easier to use the adhesive sheets instead. I know it seems like a bit of a waste. So there's one. We've still got a little bit left out of that, and that one can go just there. Okay, so that should keep the panel fairly flat. Now I've got to mount this fairly centrally, which is about there, I think. It'll have to be, won't it? Okay, oh, look at that. There's still a lot of that to come. But never mind. Inky fingers and all that. Okay, we're going to come in with a little bit of the white. This is the leftover piece from the sheet that I used. And try to get that fairly straight. And since I've used, maybe it's shaded spruce that I've used there. Is it? No, I'm not sure, but I'm going to use shaded spruce for the sentiment here. Oh, that looks really nice. Really nice and crisp. Okay, in with my paper trimmer. I've got a stack of stuff over there and it's all just tumbled down. Okay. I'm going to bring that a little bit closer. Oh, that looks good. Might actually trim it just a little bit more and watch me screw this up. Now that I've been quite happy with the way it's turned out, I'll come along and stuff it up. And take a little bit more off the top. There we go. Okay, and just a little bit off the sides. 1, 2. Now, do I do it there or do I do it there and off? I actually like the idea of it being off the side. But I think it needs mounting. Once again, a really thin border. I'm just going to use my paper snips and hope that I get this fairly straight. There we go. Actually, I did really well. Nothing like patting yourself on the back, Karen. And yes, just off to the side like that. Because it's not quite, it doesn't look right there. But a little bit off to the side and having the even edge there. I actually like that. So in with some of the foam strip. May as well use some more of this. So I'll just trim a thin piece off. I've got to remember I don't need all of that because it's going to be, oh hang on, no, I will keep that all on because I'll put a little piece just at the end of it so that it's supported here. Okay. And then peel that away. A little piece just on the end. There. And just there. Now, to me, it needs something else, so I need some sparkles. I'm going to come in with the clear gems because I think it needs these. One there. One there. And one there. Okay, my camera cut out on me then. So all you missed was the adhesion of the last clear gem. Okay, get all this stuff out the way that's sitting all over the side. There we go. That is the finished card. I actually like it. Now, is there something I can push? Yes, to a friend that makes me smile. Sounds like a good little saying for inside. So make sure you've got it up the right way, Karen. Back in with the shaded spruce. And this will be cockeyed. Oh wow, I did well. Oh, nothing like patting yourself on the back. Okay, I'm just going to come back in. Where are those little... No, I'm going to come back in with one of the big stamps. And the pool party, since it was the lightest. There we go. I like that. It's not too much and it's not too little. Yes, I really like that. Okay. The card didn't turn out the way I'd hoped. I could have gone a couple of different ways with the panel after I stuffed it up. I could have used a little a square die cut on each of those and had it lined up so that, you know, just a little bit of each of those, and then had them staggered on a card. It wouldn't have had to have been one of these slimline cards. It could have just been a normal size card and just had them staggered. There's a few different ways that I could have done this after I stuffed it up, but despite stuffing it up and not coming out the way that I hoped, I'm really pleased with the way the card ended up. I hope you'll agree that for a card on the fly that didn't quite turn out the way I pictured it in my head, it's turned out really nice, and I think anybody would be pleased to receive it. Okay, until next time, I'll say goodbye. Stay safe, wear your mask when you go out, and remember to social distance. Much love to all my girls in Victoria. Bye-bye.